if you're going to do a cover, it's probably a good idea to know who owns the publishing and maybe even contact them and say, I'm doing a cover of this song. And they're like, oh, we would love that because we want to really license it. So now you know when you present it to someone, when they go to contact the publishing company, the company's like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's going to be more expensive, or it could be very expensive, but at least it's not going to be like, no, we're not allowed to license that song for this reason or that. You already know they're in.
Exactly. You know? That's really important because, you know, the way that the industry works is that you can make a cover of anything, anytime for putting on the DSPs, for putting on Spotify or Apple Music. You can do that all day, but for sync, it's different. You need to get permission from the publisher to license that. And we do that all the time. Reimagined covers are one of the big things that we use across every form of audiovisual media. And this is something that I ask musicians to really consider doing a few reimagined covers, because it can really make a difference as a calling card to add to your original music when you're presenting to music supervisors and to other people in the industry, because everybody's always looking for something which has a unique sound, but also is something that's familiar.
Yeah, so, right. That thing that makes the difference is as soon as they hear it, well, you're not a familiar artist, but I know that song, and it's a cool version, so you can like sort of snuggle up to it faster.
Yep. We talked about that on a recent podcast about that, the reason to do covers and to try and place covers. It's not only about the money, it's about, you know, the creativity of, like you say, reimagining what that well-known song could sound like, and it now can fit perfectly with the medium that you're trying to get, whether it's an ad or a TV show or whatever.
What I think is really cool is sometimes I hear these covers, or maybe they're trailerized or just an acoustic cover, and you're listening for 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, that's that other song, where it takes a minute to hit you, you know, which is very cool.
Absolutely. And that is what we look for. We look for things. We don't look for generally like sound-alikes. Sound-alikes are not something that people
boring.
Want. A lot of boring, but also it's like, who wants that? If we have the budget, we're just going to try to get the real thing.
Right.
And, you know, we want something that we can feel some specialness in and some ownership in and some authenticity in, that also harkens back to something that's already in the zeitgeist of most people, you know, and that is something, you know, that we're always looking for. And, you know, in terms of covers, I can't emphasize for sync how important it is, Brandon, to your point, that you find out who the publisher is, and you can go on to Songview, songview.com, and you can usually find the publishers of famous songs there. And then go to that website. All of them have a licensing info email. Send them an email. They might not get back to you for a week or so, but, you know, be a little patient and find out if it's syncable. And I can tell you in real life, you know, when I have a question, you know, I know people inside of the publishers, so I can get an answer quickly. But I do the same thing because honestly, a lot of the time you don't know. An example I can give you quickly is I wanted to do a cover, a reimagined cover of "Rock with You" from Michael Jackson that was written by Rod Temperton, and we wanted to do it as like a straight up kind of like, you know, rock and roll song, and we were going to do that. And then I thought, okay, well, this sounds like fun, but, you know, I'm friends with the lawyer of Rod Temperton's estate. Why don't I give him a quick email and ask him what the syncability of this is? And he came back to me and he's like, Mark, don't even go there. It's going to be at least $1 million. They're going to have to give permission for the specific license of each license. And it's just not worth your time.
Sometimes even the money isn't even the thing. There's a person that's just like, we're not licensing my dad's music for anything. No, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, why, when you think about the estate of somebody like that, who's written, literally, he wrote "Rock with You," he wrote "Give Me the Night," he wrote all of Heat Wave's music, and he wrote "Thriller." And money's not the thing. They've got money. You know, money's there. They're more like, what is the legacy? What is the legacy of the work? So you're working with that. And sometimes people are pretty amenable if you're doing something that they feel is additive. But to be fair, most of the time, estates or the individual person, if you show up and you say, hey, we want to cover this song, you're going to end up being able to get a deal. But the publishing side is going to probably get 5 to 10 times as much money as you will on the master side, no matter what.
Yeah.
Just because
The song's the thing.
that's what is the, that's what the important thing is. Your music's important on the master side, but that's really what they're paying for.